on the point of all this solving problems and stuff, yeah. Another thing that was on my mind. So obviously in life, right? There's been like bare amount of things that we've gone through, yeah. Or like obviously when you look back at it now, it probably looks small. Right? You would say, "Oh, I haven't even been through anything." But at a point in time, something was the most important issue in your life to you, yeah. Something was so massive you didn't think you could overcome it, right? And you did. And now you're at another point, yeah. In life. How is it so hard that after looking back, we see how, like for me, I got to a point that I was like, yo, God has been so good to me, man. Like I look back, I'm like, I've gotten through every single thing I thought I wasn't ever going to be able to get through, right? So now when like, I'm talking about in terms of like life now, yeah, how come whenever we're faced with another situation, we go right back to point zero, square one of, I'm not going to get through this again. Where does that time lapse in our memory come from that we forget that drink looks disgusting and smells?
Nice.
But yeah, where does that time, like, where does that memory lapse, come from? Of, I haven't even, like, you forget all the stuff you've already come through, all the things, the mountains you've had right in front of you that looked like you couldn't get past.
Preacher.
It looked like you couldn't get past them.
Praise
But
him.
you do, and then now how come like something? Yeah, what? Like,
It's a mental.
how do you train yourself like that?
It's a mental attitude thing,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like if you go through something in your life, right,
I will praise him.
That's my track. That's my song.
and you get through it, and you face another problem and you get through it,
Yeah.
and then now you face with another problem and you keep doubting yourself. That just means that you are not aware of the ability within you, right? It's like you don't know your limits, if that kind of makes sense, because you're still doubting yourself, even though you can't get through. You're underestimating yourself. That's the word I'm looking for. You're underestimating yourself. You feel what I mean?
Yeah.
But something like that is definitely a mental attitude, kind of thing. And I think what it is that you've conquered a period of your life. You go to the next period, and you are faced with a complete different problem. And it's hard for you to say, I can get through this. You feel what I mean? Because obviously with each problem, it is the first time that you are facing that problem.
Fair.
So when you are facing that problem, it feels like you haven't even faced any problem, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I
So,
dig.
so that's why you go
true.
back to base one. It's hard for you to say, oh yeah, I've achieved this, because what it is that the problem that you're facing now, you think that this problem cannot compare to the problems that you faced before.
True.
This is why you keep running back to base one saying, I can't do this. Or I did that one because that was easy. I did that one because I had support. But this one, I'm alone. I don't have nobody. I can't do this. But then when you get through this and you go to the next phase, you're going to do the same thing again. You're going to say, I can't do this because this problem cannot compare to the problem that I just faced last year. You feel what I mean? So that's why we keep running back. But now it becomes more of a mental attitude kind of thing. You just have to say, I'm going to get it, man.
I'm gonna get it.
I'm going to get it.
That's tough.
You feel? Well, have you gone through that where it's like, I can't?
100%. There's been a couple of different things, but then I look back, I'm like, that's childish. But obviously at that point in time, I was like, oh my gosh.
But that's what it is though. Because now if you were to face a problem today and you were to say, I can't do this, but you try to compare it with your past problems, well, you're going to laugh at your past problems, bro. But you got to understand it's because you've developed.
True.
You feel what I mean?
This makes me just want to get up and get money.
Get this bread, yeah. Gary Vee or what?
I know, Gary.
Yeah, I know. I was just playing, bro. Come on, settle down.
Mao looks like she has something to add there.
Don't do that to people, man. They've got nothing to say.
Every time I have something to say, someone speak. I don't want to interrupt.
Nah, but see,
Bro, you gotta interrupt out here, man.
I can kind of see she wants to talk. So I bet she's trying to say something.
Right.
Just jump and say,
We'll come
scoot.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
It means
Say
be
your
quiet,
mouse.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mawiz, what are you gonna say?
I actually forgot it, but it was along the lines of like, what about those people who have like reoccurring problems? You know, let's say someone who's constantly living, you know, paycheck to paycheck type of thing, and it's the same problem. You know, like they're living paycheck to paycheck, barely have enough for anything like that, and it's it's a pretty scary thing, to be honest. But yeah, like it's not a different issue. It's the same problem that they're having, but they're still, you know, when it gets to that point, they're like, I can't make it. Even though they already made it last week, like just made it, you know. So like, what's going on there?
I kind of understood the question, but didn't really kind of understand it. So you might
So
give me a proper
you're
sense in that. Yeah,
you're saying you can people overcome it.
overcome. Yeah.
What are you saying again?
So I'm saying people, so you're saying, so example, let's go with paying bills.
Yep.
Would that kind of make
I
sense?
thought you were about to say penguin, bro. I don't know why.
Like paying a bill, where it's like you just.
Oh no. What you were saying was okay. Yeah. So you have an issue, you overcome it, and then when the next trial or tribulation comes your way, you're like, I can't do this again because it's different. What I went through was easy. You know what I mean? So now I'm saying someone who's having a reoccurring issue, like, well,
what do they do there?
Yeah, what can you say there?
For me, it's like
wait. Something
hate the
Charlemagne
internet.
said is crazy, man. Oh snap!
Oh, come on, get it, man.
Oh.
I'm trying to heat this fire.
I think it was shot.
Yeah.
Actually, let me not even quote. Let me not quote, bro. Let me get this. I'll say the quote and then I'll get who it was. It's when you change the way you look at something,
Yeah.
the thing you look at changes or something like that.
Yeah, I heard something like that. Yeah.
Who said it, man?
I don't know.
People.
Huh?
A lot of people.
Probably.
Yeah,
But something like
Change
that.
the way you look at something.
When you change the way you look at something, yeah.
Again,
Look at some. Let me search this up. So when you change the way you look at something, the way you look at begins to change as well. So it's like, okay, I think it says Max Planck. That's who it is. I almost gave it that quote to Charlemagne, man. Yeah. So for someone like that, it's attacking.
Charlemagne just said mental health.
Yeah, right. He's just going with it, yeah. But someone in that situation, right? For them, I would be thinking that they should now begin to look at whatever issue they're facing from a different light and see how can I attack this how can I flank this
how can I do
problem,
this well,
So how do you see an empty fridge or eviction notices as, in a different light?
So what did you what you have
like
to
they're
do
living
is-
paycheck to paycheck,
Maybe look at how
barely-
can I now maximize this money? Where else can I put it? What else can I do to get another job? Maybe obviously you might be stressed or something. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So what it is that if you are dealing with reoccurring problems every time, you have to change the system that you have in play.
Yeah, Carlos and this system thing.
You dig what I'm saying? Because obviously the system that you have going on for yourself right now is obviously not working because you are not overcoming the problem.
Yeah.
If you keep the problem the same as last week as this week and so on and so on and so on, that obviously means that what you have going on right now, it is not working for you.
Yeah.
And you are barely,
100%.
barely surviving, right? So I was watching this video where it's like, it is possible for you to make $1,000 in one day. You have 24 hours, and with technology that we have right now, if you work full day, you can make that much money in a day. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But that's just an example in terms of like whatever problem that you have to put a proper system into play.
Yeah.
You feel? And there's so many different ways. And one way of changing that system is just implementing successful habits. That's just simple as that. You feel? You can even like things such as changing even by reading itself might be able to change having this recurring problem. Because now it's like by reading, by educating yourself, you might be able to approach these problems or your situation a little bit more different as well. Or you might even be approaching everything that you have in such a positive outlook. You feel? So now it just goes back to system and be like, okay, cool, what can I actually do? Yeah. Well, what's not working? If you're obviously going to work for 8 hours and you keep having the same problem, that's your problem. You feel what I mean? What can you do before you go to work? What can you do after you go to work? Can you have night shifts? Can you do this? Can you do that? You have to go back and change everything.
Bloody Carlos, mate. Bloody Carlos. Tell you what, mate. This guy, get him a TV show. All right? Just get him a show already.
Write a book.
Get him a book.
Right.